Good morning. I hope you're well. I'm up super early again, running around doing my errands with my funky hair. I went to bed with wet hair. um, and I just popped out to, on my way back, I just went and got a coffee. And I'll keep it out of shot because otherwise it would just be a advertisement. And every time I go and get I'm going to call it a commercial coffee, a big corp coffee. I always get the same download, and I did a post about it a little while ago, but it's the same information that always comes with this cup of coffee. So I feel like I want to share it with you, because my train of thought every time I get a corporate coffee is it just explodes the process. So I'll just share it with you. Okay, so when I get the coffee and I drink the coffee, I think, like, number one, I thought to myself, the run that I had the other night will give me more energy than this coffee and will have less effects on me, less chemicals in my body. Like, it's the better option to go for the run. But because I was out and in a rush and I needed a little pick-me-up, I went and grabbed the coffee. Like, it's just pure convenience. And I'm well aware of that. To be fair, I don't actually really enjoy coffee as much as what I used to, like, at all. My taste has completely changed, and having big breaks in between not having a coffee, the feeling that you get, the overstimulation of your body, it's not very nice. So when I am actually having coffee, I'm not actually enjoying it as much as what I was doing before when I was having it all the time. Just things to think about. And I think, like, having space and time in between having things that become habitual. Like, I know so many people that can drink 3, 4, 5 cups of coffee a day, and I think once you're doing it all day, every day, you sort of forget, or your body gets used to having that as part of its habitual process. But once you give your body space and time in between having certain things, and I don't just mean coffee, I'm just using coffee as a way to open up the conversation, you can start processing how it really makes you feel and what it really does to your body, and the after effects and all these kinds of things, like just space and time. And it gets me thinking about people that eat, like, McDonald's every day and takeaways every day, and chocolate every day, smoking. I literally, I loved smoking, loved it, and I've never been one to get up in the morning and have a cigarette. That's never been my thing. My cigarettes have always been for socialising cigarettes and stressy cigarettes, and it was a dummy. It's a dummy. That's how I managed to process the idea and get off of it. Anyway, so now I've had that long a time without smoking, the thought of it actually repels me. It makes me feel sick, even to imagine me. I can't even, like, find the muscle memory to be able to. I would literally just be like this now. And I think the same with this is like habitual things that we do to ourselves in regards to our routines that we do in the morning, routines that we go through on the way to work, like things that we just repeatedly do every single day. I start thinking about like behaviours, like in the morning when you get up and you're racing around trying to get the kids ready and you're losing your temper and you're trying to get them into their uniforms and things while you're trying to get ready yourself. And, like it's just this habitual thing every morning that you go through these cycles, and it's like it's guaranteed that you're going to lose your temper, and it's guaranteed that the kids are not going to do what they're going to say, that you want them to do, and you're going to be late. And these sort of cycles and habitual behaviours that we get into keep us on the hamster wheel. And then I was thinking, this is the thought process. So when I get the coffee, I always start thinking about, and it comes so clear, consumerism is the root of all evil. And then from that thought process, I can literally undo every single thing that we purchase because someone's given you a reason that you must buy it. I'll enlighten you. So for example, your coffee I've got my coffee. I know in my mind that if I go and get a coffee, it will stimulate me and give me a pump for the rest of the day. That's been marketed into my mind, like social. How do I learn that information? But I know because I experienced it the other night, that going for that run gave me more energy, more clarity, and everything that I've bought this cup of coffee for. Because I've experienced it. I know it. It's sitting in my muscle memory. I've literally just done it the other night. And then for convenience, I've gone and got the coffee. To not do as good a job as the run did the other night. I went for must have been about 30 to 40 minutes. I didn't run the whole way. It's my first run for probably since the summer. It's been a very long time since I ran. All I was concentrating on is just keeping my nasal breathing up and keeping my form somewhat together. And I didn't run the whole way, but 30 to 40 minutes, perfect timing. Got back, danced around the kitchen for an hour, and couldn't get to sleep because I was so full of energy and buzzing. This cup of coffee is not going to do that, and it's going to fill me with sugar and caffeine and probably all the chemicals that the soy milk was sorted with. There's a lot of stuff in this cup that I don't even know what's in there, because of the processes that it took for it to come into this cup. And obviously it's got a plastic lid and all this sort of stuff. So that's where I'm going with this consumerism, because we're not taught, and many of us don't even experience the completely natural ways that our body can heal, our body can improve itself, our body can work better for us, because we're not taught that. We rely on the products that we buy, that we purchase, which have a really negative effect upon us to do the same jobs. For example, I'll just talk about prescriptions and medications and all that kind of stuff. So I have in my life been on medications every day, popping pills and painkillers and all sorts of things. I had Dr. Gaines, I called it, Dr. Gaines' cabinet full of all these things that I would take every single time that I got a pain or poorly or a sniffle or whatever. And now I don't use anything. Literally don't use anything. I use essential oils and that's it. And I use a little bit of Vicks rub on my son. That's it. And it's only down to the fact that I have experienced so much within myself in regards to how my mind works, how powerful my mind is, how much I can heal with my own mind, with my breath, with my body, with how I move my body, how I manipulate energy within my body, how I live my life, how I exchange energy with other people, all these different things that are completely natural, completely powerful ways to heal and improve ourselves without any external purchase. So I'm helping myself, I'm helping the world. Less mess. And this is less waste. No waste. And I think this just keeps running round my brain. To me, self-love and knowledge is the key out of all our problems. Consumerism, the idea of consumerism is the fact that the people selling the stuff to you are creating the problem for them to fix it. And I've spoken about this on my posts and my videos. Cellulite wasn't even a thing until somebody made a clinic to get rid of it. And now people are obsessing over it. My son had cellulite. My son had cellulite from 6 months. Have a look and see what cellulite actually is. You can do so many Google searches, but what I would recommend is having a look at lots of different sources. Don't just look at the first one that's brought up, because it's probably someone trying to sell you something. And most of the health pages are actually sponsored by pharmaceutical companies. Some of the information that I found about healing plants and medicines that have been passed down generationally, some of the stuff that they write about, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. And then underneath it, in the smallest of writing, they say tested on 5 people, or results 5 people out of 5,000. And they're just making up these statistics, random statistics about how dangerous plant medicine is and all this kind of stuff. And I'll just say another thing about studies as well. There's so many studies that are done on people, and the variables of those people are humongous. They can have genetic disorders, they can have generational disorders, they can have problems with their DNA. They could have smoked in some part of their life. They could have not eat correct food. They could be highly stressed out. They could be a very depressed person for a lot of their life. All these things factors your health massively. And if you live in a high state of anxiety for a lot of time, your body becomes poorly through that. So when they're doing these test studies and things, and they're saying people are getting poorly or dying or creating stomach ulcers and all this kind of thing, the person that could be taking the plant medicine could be living a very, very um, high anxiety, unnatural life, surrounded by toxins maybe. Who knows? But the variables are humongous for them to get these case studies done. Like, it's just berserk. I mean, obviously, please, I do inspire you to do your own research, but this is the kind of thinking that my cup of coffee gets me into. And I don't actually buy commercial products often. It's rare, it's really rare. But when I do, this is my train of thought that comes out. And when I think about this more and more and more, like, let me just leave you with this as well. Do you know that you don't actually need as much food as what you're actually eating? But the companies that are selling you the food, i.e., fast food, supermarkets, restaurants, they want to put you in a state of hunger constantly so that you want to buy their food. Like, obviously, hunger is a very natural. What's the word I'm looking for? You need food, but how much food you actually need, probably most of us don't even know. I've been working really, really hard over the last 3 years to decipher when I am actually hungry. When do I need food? When do I need to eat? Rather than being told when I need to eat, or being manipulated into wanting to eat, i.e., walking past the restaurant and having the smell of the most amazing food wafted in your face. That's what they're doing. It's all manipulation. The signs around constantly with certain colours to trigger you to be hungry, to make your mouth water. Smells that they pump out. On the TV, I'll not name the company that did it, but having like juices and stuff, like, and chocolate sauces rolling all over their food and things to make it look ultra sumptuous. Like, it's all a marketing ploy to make you want that thing more. Same with the pharmaceutical companies. They've got to keep you poorly so that they can keep selling you the drugs. Same with the cup of coffee. Coffee and caffeine doesn't last very long at all in your system. You get a spike, especially with the amount of sugar that's in these as well. A really big spike, and then you need another one. That's how you're on 7 cups of coffee a day. I'll just go back to the running thing. So, anyone who's got kids will know that they have a mad half hour before bed and they'll run around like an absolute Looney Tune with their pyjamas on their heads, not wanting to go to bed, right? And they're knackered. They'll be literally yawning 1 second, right? This is what your children are doing. They're going for the 20 half an hour run to get them to boost up, to energize. That's why they're running around in circles. They're energizing their bodies. Honestly, watch children. You'll have the answers to life, because that's what I've been doing. You want to know how to live your life? Live your life like a toddler. They have all the answers. Sounds mental, but it's true. That's what they're doing. They're raising the frequency in their body. That's why they get so silly. Because they're knackered. They know it's time for bed. They know it's time for rest. Their bodies are saying, right, it's time for rest now. They're like, no, I know what to do. I'm hoping to share the more downloads like this, more thought processes, more healing. Yeah, there's just so much that I want to teach her. And it's all for the good, and it's all to help, and yeah. Have a good day. Go have a run.